Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to continue my NextJS Auth tutorial series. And as you can see, I am on the browser on the website authjs.dev. Auth.js is a runtime agnostic library based on standard web API that integrates deeply with modern JavaScript framework to provide an authentication experience that's simple to get started with, easy to extend, and always private and secure. Since last time we're using Prisma, let's scroll down here and click Prisma adapter, and let's install this Prisma adapter. And since I'm using pnpm in my local development, we will proceed on using pnpm. So we need to type pnpm and @auth prisma-adapter in our terminal. So let's go here in my main VS Code window. Let's zoom in this one and let's type in pnpm add at prisma adapter auth and hit enter. Okay, now it was installed. And back here in the browser, there should be guide here, schema. In my editor, I have this schema.prisma. So we have to copy this in our schema.prisma. Here we have a schema. Let's paste what we have copied here and remove that is unnecessary. Session, since I removed the session, so I will also remove the session here. Account user, since we have already user copy down below. So by having this, it is expected that in our database we have two tables there, the user and the account, and these are the fields of the account: ID, string, user ID, which map to the user ID, type, provider account ID, refresh token, expire at, scope, ID token, session state. And after having this in our schema.prisma, let's go back in the main VS Code editor. And here in our terminal, let's run npx prisma-db push to sync in our local schema to the Neon Tech. Alright, so your database is now in sync with your Prisma schema. Now here in the browser, let's check if the database was synced. Click here on the tables, and here we go. We can see accounts and user. Here we can see the columns, constraint, and indexes in the same way the user. Now the next thing that we have to do here, because as you can see we have ID, name, email verified, image, account. When looking at our form here in the browser, we have a name, email, and the password. And back here, there is no password field, so we need to add that. Password field, the same, optional string. This is optional because later on, when we implement OAuth, like login with GitHub, login with Google, there's no password entry, so this model should handle that as well if the password is not given. And then in the terminal, we need to run npx prisma generate to regenerate our schema, since we have added the password field. Alright, generated Prisma client, and we need to push our DB to Neon to sync our schema to the Neon database. Alright, so your database is now in sync with your Prisma schema. Now let's check here by refreshing this one. And we can see here the password. Alright, so the next thing that I'm going to do is to add a bcrypt and types bcrypt package. So let's do that. Let's open our terminal, move it to the right, and let's follow this here. pnpm and bcrypt at types bcrypt -d and hit enter. The following dependencies have build script that will ignore bcrypt to allow execution of build script. This package have build script. I think we don't have to care about this one. Now let's verify the installment of those packages. And we can see here the package that JSON is modified. Therefore, we can say that it is added there. Get add dash p. You can see here Prisma adapter that we did earlier. Oops, yes. We can see also types bcrypt, and bcrypt was added also in the div dependencies. Alright, and let's get add the rest. Now let's close our terminal and go ahead open our, let's go here in action in our register.ts, and let's move that, and we can do this import bcrypt from bcrypt. We should have an async function has password promise salt rounds cons has password await and return password compare password. Example uses, you have an example function here. You have the password given, await has password, compare password. So that's the use case of that. Let's open that file here, and down below here we need to, since we are accepting data from the user registration form, we can do something like this: email, name, email, and the password from validated that data. Next is we have to declare health is salt rounds, which is equivalent to 10, equal to 10. You can change this to any value you want, and let's do this what is being suggested. Const hash equal to await bcrypt that hash the given password and the salt round. And this bcrypt is complaining, that is because we need to import that. So above, let's import the bcrypt from the bcrypt. Now the next thing is check if the given email already exists. So existing, just like what is being suggested here, await dv that user find unique where email, where email, and this db here we need also, it's already imported here, db.user. I don't get why there's a complaint there. Maybe it's an editor again. So let's continue. Alright, and let's inform the user, just like suggested here, that if the existing user, this one, existing user exists, return error user already is already being used, else return success. But we need to save the user here. No, just like that, we need a user to be saved in our database. So user is await dv that user that create, and then data name comma email comma and password. This should be a hash password, not the given password. The hash password comes from here, and I don't know why that is complaining. So if the user's email is not existing in the database, then proceed on creating that email alongside with name, email, and password. And if user, also let's update this user created. So I believe basically that's it. Now back here in our form, let's input here field as the name. Let's say field at example.com and have some password input. Click an account and there is an error, cannot find module. Okay, so I looked into the problem and I found out that the reason is because I installed bcrypt using pnpm, and it seems that installing that misses some package that is required by bcrypt. So as a workaround, I've been experimenting what's worked, and I found out that although node modules is installed using pnpm, I tried installing bcrypt using npm and it fixed the issue. So I installed the package using npm but still running the application using pnpm. And I have this console log so that for me to check if bcrypt is working or not by printing this two logs and the hash password. So if it will be printed on the terminal that you are seeing earlier, then bcrypt is no longer have a problem. So the next thing to do is to return back this uncommented. And back in the browser, I already pre-filled this. I tested user created, but actually it did not really save into the database. So I'm going to click again the create account, and I will be expecting this to be display again. So click, and there you go, user created. And here let's refresh this to see if what was submitted was really stored in this database. So refresh, and there you go, it was successfully stored in our database. It failed. Now let's try again resubmitting this to test our validation functionality that was implemented in the register. So let's submit this again, and there you go, we have this error message, user is already being used. So perfect.